Question's been bothering me recently. Why do people dislike remakes so much? I mean, I understand the hatred for them because why would you remake something that is already perfect? But at the same time, I can name a lot of great reboots that made the original not look that great. So I'm like, is there a way to make a remake good, and how do you do that? My name is Maximum Spoilers, and I'm here today to talk about, well, how to make a good remake. Because Hollywood isn't that great at it, honestly. I'd say most remakes, or most bad remakes, are like a good 60% of that genre. Now, let's just get to the gist of this point. Because it's always bothered me when people instantly roll their eyes at the idea of a reboot because I'm like, might be good. That's because I'm basically positive towards every film that comes out that there is a possibility it'll be good. So, but how do you make one? Let's just get straight to the point. Well, I found three separate ways. I'd say first of all, get somebody, a director, a writer, the crew, right? Make sure they actually care about that franchise. Like, I don't think this is such a complex idea. I mean, getting a fan to make a reboot of a film they used to love is actually a really good idea because they know what they liked in the original film and maybe even what the rest of the fan base liked because they were a part of it. So it makes perfect sense. Like, here's a good example. I had to think about it for a minute. Mad Max Fury Road. Even though the director of that wasn't really a fan of Mad Max, he was already the creator. And some people would argue Fury Road's not even a remake. But at the same time, it basically is. Like, it has no ties to the first three movies. It has a brand new star. And there's barely any recognition compared to the first three. So, it's what I like to call a soft reboot. And I've heard a lot of other people call it that. So, I'm definitely not going to take credit for that. But the thing is, it was a really damn good movie. I mean, that's that's probably the best situation you could do for a reboot. Get the original people attached and do something new with that franchise, but at the same time something familiar, something that would make the Mad Max fans happy that they finally got a movie after what, 25 years, maybe 30. But yeah, I would understand that. Second one, how about, like I brought up earlier with the soft reboot, how about you just do that? Make it set in the same universe as the original, make some references, and do stuff that would make the fan base happy. And that's why I want to bring up Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle. It seemed like a reboot. Even from trailers, it seemed like it was a complete reboot. Like the Robin Williams movie had nothing to do with this. But just because they put a reference to him in that movie, that he existed in the world of Jumanji at one point, it kind of made all the fans raise an eyebrow. They were actually interested once they heard that. They were like, huh, they actually are respecting the original movie that I love. I mean, okay, then I can actually like the film. I'm actually on board to watch this. Even though at that point it was probably an hour and 30 minutes into a 2-hour movie. So, what can you do? That's why I think it's a great idea to maybe put a cast member from the original movie in the reboot. as like an older version of the original character. And just, yeah, then it'll feel more like a sequel slash spinoff, which I think would make you more money. Be a win-win for everybody. Like, for example, the most recent Halloween movie, which that was listed as a reboot, even though I don't see it as that. It's more of a sequel. But yeah, bringing back Jamie Lee Curtis's character for the sequel, which they called a reboot, still a really good idea. I'm just saying, I know that like Jumanji, you're not going to get Robin Williams back because at the time, well, he wasn't with us anymore. But you could have gotten Christian Dunst or who are the other cast members? I can't even think of any other cast members inside that movie that I can name right off the top of my head. I'd say a good third one is Batman Begins. I think it's very obvious that probably when you clicked on this video, you were like, most likely he's going to bring up the Dark Knight in that whole trilogy. Because the thing is, when it comes to the Batman franchise, we've had dark iterations in the past. The Tim Burton movies, especially Batman Returns. Dear God. Batman Begins decided to go with more of a realistic approach towards the whole Batman mythos, which some people will go, well, we already had that with those Tim Burton movies. I would not define them as realistic. I mean, all you have to do is look at them. Like, all you have to do is play the scene with Joker dancing around, destroying art. Like, it's not that serious. It's not that realistic. So it's understandable that the Tim Burton movies were, they were not realistic in the slightest, which does not make them bad. I know a lot of people will read that as they suck. That I think they suck. No. They're just not realistic. That's not a negative thing. I'm just saying that Batman Begins took the Batman mythos and made it realistic and took the darkness from those Tim Burton movies and just kind of smushed it together, which worked quite well. I mean, created The Dark Knight, its sequel, which is considered one of the best movies of all time by most people. And I completely understand it. So, if you're going to do a reboot, do something new. Do not try to replicate the original. Or even worse, replicate the original story beat by beat. Because if you do that, then, well, we know exactly what's going to happen. So why should we, as an audience, be invested? I mean, I wouldn't be. I want to be on the, I want to be in the edge of my seat. I want to be worried about the characters. I want to be stressed beyond belief. When they're in a stressful session, I want to be in a stressful situation. I'm just saying. So if you're going to do the same story again, why do it? I don't get it. Now some people go, well, money. And yeah. But the thing is, no matter how much money a movie makes, I don't think anyone's going to remember it after it comes out. I mean, do you think anyone's going to be talking about the 2019 Lion King in 20 years? Or do you think they're going to be talking about the classic original? I'm just saying. Which one do you think will still be shown to their kids, will still be beloved decades later? The animated one. It's timeless. But when you remake it, it doesn't work. So let's go over the three options again. You either A, get someone who worked on the original movie to work on this new one, or get a fan to work on it. One or the other will work perfectly fine. I think either or would lead to a buttload of cash. Like, I don't see much problems arising. when it comes to that situation. Secondly, make it a sort of sequel, a spin-off. If you don't do that, you just make it a plain reboot with the same characters just recast, then it's not going to work. But if you are going to do that, that comes to number 3. You need to do something different with those characters. If you're not going to do anything different with those characters, then I could just pop in the original movie. I could literally lay on my couch and watch that movie again, and literally save myself $10 instead of spending it to go see that movie. Because, well, why would I? It seems just kind of like a waste of money. So to end it off, sometimes I'm just disappointed in Hollywood. Like, apparently Sony Pictures wants to reboot The Princess Bride, which, if it follows one of those 3 rules, good. I think it could really work. You could bring back a lot of the cast members from the original, and then just tell a sequel with new characters in there, like the new side characters, like the mentors were the old characters. If you did something like that, then I think it'd work. Honestly, think it'd work. Or at least if you did something new with it, I think we'd be all okay with it. But if you're just going to remake the original beat by beat, but just recast everybody just to cash in on people's nostalgia, you're probably going to make, I'm just saying, you're probably going to make almost $1 billion. It's sad to hear, but money-wise, they're going to do great. Even the thought of making it, people are going to go see it because they adore the original. They love it. Honestly, if I were to make a reboot, if I was in charge of a big film studio, how would I make it? It's very simple. Ask the fan base. What kind of reboot do you want? Like, for example, here's something that's going to be very controversial, and I will full on expect dislikes. If they rebooted Back to the Future, now hear me out, only if they pulled a Jumanji. I honestly think if that's the only way to do Back to the Future, I don't see the Batman Begins route of doing something new with it, because there's not really much to explore that wasn't already explored in the original trilogy. But doing a Jumanji situation, maybe having Marty McFly show up for a cameo, or hell, make him a mentor character. Make him like Grandpa Marty. I'm just saying, you could easily do that. And that way, everyone would be on board. I'd say that's the best route. If you have any disagreements or things to add, your opinion, then go ahead and put them in the comments. I might reply to you and we can have a conversation. Okay, well, I'll see you guys next time. I might be making more videos, maybe, because I want to see how this does. I want to see how I enjoyed it, especially because I'm going to edit this, which you've probably already seen. But if this goes well, expect more videos, expect more. I'm probably going to do some quickie reviews, kind of like a very quick vid explaining a film I just saw and my immediate thoughts right after it. Stuff like that. Okay, but if you guys have any comments or ideas, then I'm full on board. I'll see you guys later. Have a good day.